Hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Mache Seibel, and this is Ask Dr. Mache on Facebook Live. And I want to say to you that normally I'm on at 9 p.m. on Thursdays, but this Thursday I'm on at 6 p.m. because I'm going to hear a concert and hear some Beethoven. And I'm going to hear Beethoven because one of the reasons I like Beethoven, and the second is my daughter's going to be playing in the symphony, so hey, a dad's got to have priorities, and that's what I'm going to do. But I've got some great stuff to share with you this evening, and before we get started, I want to ask you to just turn off your cell phones for the ringer for a minute, and please share this with your friends so that they'll know that they can hop on, and please follow me on My Menopause Magazine on Facebook Live and share this with your friends so they can come on. I want to say that if you have questions that you want to be sure get asked, well, you can always go to AskDrMache.com ahead of time and you can put your questions in there, and then you'll be able to be sure that I will address those questions when we're on. Now, this evening, I want to talk to you about a topic that I think is very important. It's fall, right? And falls is what we're going to talk about. I'm talking about falling on your behind or breaking your hip or busting your head, because this issue of the New England Journal actually had an article featured about falling. It was called The Management of Acute Hip Fracture. And I want to share this with you because I think it's a very important topic, particularly if you live in an area of the country where it is slippery. But let me just say that no matter where you live, falls are pretty darn common. There's about 1 in 5 falls that are caused every year result in a serious injury, either a broken hip or a head injury. There's 2.8 million older people that are going to fall every year and end up in the emergency room. 2.8 million people. Emergency room visits. There's 800,000 a year of hospitalizations secondary to falls. 300,000 people a year. 300,000 break their hip. And 95% of hip fractures are caused by falls. And hip fractures are bad. They got to be treated in the first 48 hours, and if you're lucky, they should be treated in the first 6 hours after you break your hip, because you're going to get a much better outcome and much less risk. Falls are the #1 cause of traumatic brain injury. They happen a lot. If you ever fallen, you know it's serious, or if you have moms that are a little bit older. Hi, Janet. Lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining. But falls can be very dangerous. You got to be careful. Talk to your moms about it, because worldwide there's 4.5 million people that are disabled every year by hip fractures. That is a whole heck of a lot of people. And if you think about it, it can cause loss of independence. And if you're over 70 and you break a hip, there's about a 30% chance of dying in the first year afterwards. As a matter of fact, if you're a healthy 50-year-old woman, your chances of dying from a hip fracture or other complication of thinning bones is about the same as your risk of dying from breast cancer. It may actually be higher now that breast cancer is becoming so much more able to be treated well. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that, and I like to start off by giving some information. And if you're in your house, some of the things you can do to help prevent falls is, if you're in the bathroom, if you've got those rails that are in your shower or bathtub, that helps. A bath mat on the floor, making sure there's a night light so you don't trip, making sure you have glasses that are recent prescriptions so you don't see things in an odd way. If you look in your rugs, if you got throw rugs, when those edges start to come up, feet get trip and caught up in there. Toys on the floor from grandkids or from dogs is another common reason. Unlit stairwells that get people to step down and miss the step and tumble down the stairs. And these are all very, very common things. My mom's now 93. And let me tell you, falls is one of the things that I really have to think about with her and for her. And I will tell you this, and if you don't take care of yourself, you can find out that, and you got to start now when you're 50 or 45, because when you get to be 80 or 90, then what's going to happen is sometimes it's hard to get up when you fall. And I had a friend's mom that is actually went up her steps in her home. She fell, and she lived alone. Her husband had passed away, and she was living outside. She stayed the whole night on the stairwell in front of the door and couldn't get up, and had to wait for somebody in the morning, was delivering the paper, came and saw her and helped her get up. So it's a serious issue. So I want to talk a little bit about it, because I want to say to you what happens. First of all, let's talk to you about hip fracture. We're going to have a real discussion today, because here's the actual picture from the New England Journal. And here's the pelvic bone right over here. Here's the hip bone going into the pelvis. And this is one place where bones break. And here's another place where bones break, and they just snap. And when that happens, it's bad. Now here's what happens when you talk about people getting their hips fixed. Here's a picture over here, and I think this is interesting just to see. You see, fractures can happen like this, where they actually break, but the bones stay all lined up. See how the fracture is in a straight line? And so they put screws in these things, 1 or 3 screws, you can see right there. Sometimes the hip will actually get what they call displaced. You see here how the bone is separated from the head of the femur, and it's not lined up anymore. And when that happens, they have to put these ball and sockets in. So it's a big operation, and it's one that you want to avoid if you can. So I wanted to share that information with you, and if you have questions about that, I'm happy to answer them. But if you have other questions, I'm happy to do that too. And I want to say that I have some of this is all this is here because of my book, The Estrogen Fix. It's the #1 new release in the area of menopause, and this book has really got a whole section on bones, hormones, and estrogen. And I'll give you this little clinical pearl because it's important, and that is, if you are going to take hormone therapy, you want to get it started in the years that are closest to when menopause starts, to have the best protection for your bones so that you are getting the most benefit from it. And that's true for your hot flashes, for your heart, for your bones, for your brain, for every part of your body. So getting started early is very important. And by early, I don't mean taking the pill in the morning. I mean close as you can to the time of menopause. Janet, do you have any question? Where are you from, Janet? Where do you live? And I'd love to know where you're from. And I want to thank you for joining me here today. And if there are other people on that haven't said hello yet, I'd love to hear from you so that I know that you're here. And if you have questions, I'd like to try to address them. Since we're on the area of bones, some of the things that are really important for you to know about that you can be doing now in order to protect your bones is you've got to protect your muscles. And how do you do that? Because your muscles are connected to your bones, and you have to have muscles to move your bones in any direction. That's how come they move. You've got the bones connected. The muscles are here, and they're connected there, and they're connected down here. And so when the muscle contracts, it brings your arm up and so forth. And this is the same all over the body. So that means 2 things. It means #1 is exercise. Exercise is really important. It helps reduce the risk of breast cancer. It helps lower the risk of depression, or if you have depression, a mild depression, it can cure it as effectively as pills. And you've got the importance of exercise in terms of keeping calcium in your bones, and it also helps to protect you by keeping your core and your balance good and preventing you from falling. The other thing is you've got to have a good amount of protein in your diet. And you need about 1 gram of protein for every kilogram of weight in your body. So if you're a 50-kilogram woman, which is about an average weight for women about at that point in time, is about 2.2 pounds to a kilogram. So that's about 120. So if you're a 55-kilogram woman, you need 55 grams of protein every day, divided over the course of the day to get that amount of food in. So you don't want to overload it. And vegetable protein is a lot easier to absorb than it is if you have meat protein and so forth. I want to tell you also that for my book, The Estrogen Fix, if you go to estrogenfixbook.com, I've got some special gifts for you there. I've actually made 9 bonuses available to help you that will be very useful for you in this time of life. So please do join estrogenfixbook.com, and it's you can go from there to purchase the book, and if you get it there, you'll get, as I mentioned, 9 bonuses that will help you. I've got some great gifts there that you can download instantly after you purchase the book. So, I want to tell you too that if you are, well, thank you, Jen. I appreciate the like. And please share this with your friends. Let's get some other people on, because I'm here. Remember, you only get about 8 minutes per visit with a doctor when you go in to see them. And here you have one of the country's leading experts in menopause at your disposal. So I'm here to help you. So if you've got some questions that are burning questions, and it could be hot flashes, those are burning questions, but it could be on any topic, then I'm happy to try and help you. Also, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We talked last week. It was Thanksgiving. It's hard to believe a week's gone by, but in between all of the turkey and everything else, we got together. And so if you have, I hope that you're continuing to have great visits with family and friends and having a wonderful holiday. Also, I want to tell you about Hot Years Mag. Hot Years is the magazine that I publish. It comes out in the digital form only, but you can download it at hotyearsmag.com. And you know, if you haven't seen it, it's a magnificent magazine. You can see here's the cover of one. Here's Mary Lou Henner, who you may remember on television on Taxi and other places, but this is Hot Years Mag, and we do these, and I interview celebrities and other people, and we have great articles to help you. Here's one, Belinda Carlisle. Do you know her from the Go-Go's? I interviewed her. She was in India when I did the interview, and we talked about what she was up to and menopause for her and what it was like. She's in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and but anyway, we have so many great issues you can go back and get. And guess what? It's free. How can you beat that? Free. You can get hotyearsmag.com. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. It's a wonderful resource. And that's something that you can share with your friends. Tell them about it. Download it and get this information, because it empowers you to become a partner with your healthcare provider and to really be able to optimize your life for a healthier, happier, more hormonally balanced experience in this window of time. Well, I'm going to stay on a little bit longer. If you have any questions, Janet, do you have any questions? You didn't tell me where you're from. I wanted to know. And let me know where you're from and share this so others can take advantage and come on along with you. All right, well, if I don't see anything, any questions or any other questions at this time, I want to thank you for joining me on Ask Dr. Mache on Facebook Live. Tonight we talked about hips. It's a little earlier than usual. I'm usually on at 9 p.m. every week from 9 p.m. Eastern Oh, I see Kim. Kim, hi, from Salisbury, England. How long does the menopause last? I've had flush for 7 years now. Well, that's a long time, isn't it? Boy, that's a long time. But you know what? It's not as long as it may be still, because the average duration of hot flashes is about 5 to 7 years. And it's a... some people will be lucky. It'll only go for 3 years. But for some women, it will go 10 years, and for about 6.5% of women, it will go on for about an additional number of years. Robin, thank you for joining. You're very welcome. And let me just tell you one thing, Kim, if you're interested. I have this Hot Flash Rescue Kit that I'm having on special now, hotflashrescuekit.com. If you go there, it's about an hour course I've put together. 60 minutes, it tells you all about hot flashes, what the latest treatments are, and so forth. And I'm doing it for the holiday specials. I'm making it available for under $20. So for that, you can go and get it and take advantage of it. It's at hotflashrescuekit.com. We actually have a lot of people that join me from the UK, and it's nice that you, thank you for saying that you're on and for asking your question. Robin, thanks for letting me know that you're here. And also, I want to thank Janet for being brave and being the first one to say hello. If there are any other questions, I'll take them now. If not, I'm going to say thank you. Join me next week at 9 p.m. Eastern for AskDrMache.com, and I look forward to seeing you at that time. Have a wonderful holiday season in the meantime. Stay well.